Hello, quick video release here. Not even wearing pants that I could otherwise be flying by the seat of my... Yeah, just so insane that I had to put this out before my stream starts later today. Look, liberals have gotten a lot wrong over the past quarter millennia, I would say. You know, they haven't always sent their best. There are a few things you have to give them credit on, and one of them is the whole Trump-Russia thing, okay? Oh my God. Basically, look, if you're left-leaning and you watch me, I hope you're left-leaning. I don't know why you'd be watching me if you weren't left-leaning. What are you doing? And you're in on this like weird performative rejection of the idea that Donald Trump has cozied up the Kremlin just because like it's been heavily pushed by and fronted by, I don't know, Hillary Clinton. You got to reassess. This is insane, man. UN rejects U.S. resolution that urges an end to the Ukraine war without noticing Russian aggression. Or maybe more pointedly, U.S. joins Russia to vote against UN resolution condemning Russia's war against Ukraine. Basically, you know, now what is the United Nations worth? Not much, evidently, but there is still meaning in symbols, certainly in you know, where people stand on issues like this. I just don't think it's a high bar. Condemning Russia for the invasion of Ukraine? The United States put forward a statement that was essentially along the lines of, it's a tragedy what has happened here. It's so bad, lives on both sides have been lost. You know, Ukraine, Russia, who will bring an end to this conflict? Hopefully Donald Trump, et cetera, et cetera. You know, in no way does it blame Russia for the invasion, which to me strikes of, you know, like, well, it's like 1944. Let's draft a resolution where we call upon, like, you know, the United Kingdom and Germany to both cease hostilities, let the fighting stop, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, when you're bombing Dresden, okay, you can't dial it back a little bit. You got to take a stand, okay? So the U.S. Proposed its own dickless, you know, essentially like both sides favor the oppressor kind of resolution, which was rejected and voted against the UN resolution that actually did go through, which condemned Russia for their invasion of Ukraine. This is just so straightforward, it's almost unbelievable, right? I mean, after years and years of Trump obviously cozying up to Putin, to just see the United States join Russia in rejecting a statement condemning Russia for their invasion of Ukraine. Insanity. A complete betrayal of, and I mean, it's not just us, right? Western Europe voted in favor of this. Here, where does it note the amendments set by France? In a surprise move, France proposed three amendments backed by more than European countries, which add the conflict was the result of a full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation. That's true. The amendments reaffirm the Assembly's commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity, and call for peace that respect the UN Charter. Again, all of this is a virtue signal, but a virtue signal is better than a vice signal, right? Like, I would rather have Starbucks put a progressive flag, you know, on its window, the progress flag, whatever, you know what it is. It's the trans stripes and the gay stripes and the intersex circle, than them putting swastika up there, you know? Virtue signal, vice signal. Okay, I'll take the virtue. Thank you. I'll take rainbow capitalism over Hitler capitalism. I'll take condemning Russia for the invasion of Ukraine over explicitly rejecting the accusation that Russia is at fault for invading Ukraine. Oh man, to be Zelensky right now. Oh boy, it's a dark hour for our boys over there, you know. And you know how it's going to go down, right? Like America, they're going to try to force a cessation or a cessation of conflict, and they're going to get the mineral rights and the hold on, Russia controlled territory, Ukraine mineral rights. Russia is arguing like my understanding is that Russia is arguing that the U.S. could get 50% mineral rights from Ukraine, including in areas that are currently occupied by Russia, which essentially means Russia and America will work together to strip Ukraine of natural resources on both sides of the demilitarized zone, which is insane. I don't know how lefties take a different side on this. Like, this is literally like now that the fascists are unambiguously in control of the United States, the first thing they do is drop to their knees and suck Russia's dick, or more accurately, acknowledge that their material interests better align with fascist autocracies that are singly ruled by a desire to accumulate more wealth for their oligarchs, which again you know, at least with the Democrats here in America, we had a semblance, like a tiny pretense, just a little, I mean, the vestige of a hope, of a dream, of a glimmer, of a starlight, of a belief in democracy. No longer, it seems. But you've heard all this from me before. U.S. Deputy Ambassador Dorothy Shea, meanwhile, has said multiple previous UN resolutions condemning Russia and demanding the withdrawal of Russian troops have failed to stop the war, which has now dragged on for far too long and far too terrible of a cost to the people in Ukraine, Russia, and beyond. I mean, Russia could always, like, stop invading Ukraine, theoretically. But you know what? The war has gone on too long. I don't think that means, though, that you need to be pro the people who started the war. You know? You don't need to, oh, the war's gone on too long. World War II has gone on too long. Therefore, we surrender. Let the Nazis win, you know? People, you know, Hitler's dead in his bunker. Let the Pacific Front be, you know, let it be, okay? Whatever. Who cares if Japan sticks around? It's gone on for too long, okay? Too many lives have been lost. It's pretty rough, guys. Look, to be clear, like let's just put a bow on this, okay? Ideologically speaking, I think that Trump as a person is totally wound around Putin's finger. And the reason for that is just because Putin is and always has been a smart guy and a good manipulator on the world stage. Of course he is. I wouldn't call the guy stupid. And Trump is a idiot who is like will melt at flattery. There's probably also some truth to the idea that Russia has specific dirt on Donald Trump, not just like the you know Steele dossier stuff or whatever, but more along the lines of like debt holdings or the fact that like he's done real estate deals in Russia. They might have like financial ties to him that are more serious than we understand. People are saying, like, there's apparently an ex-KGB officer who's saying that he was deputized by the KGB back in the 80s. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I don't think it's true. Usually it's not stuff that's sensational. You know, it's just debts and obligations build up over time. And Trump has always, like, really firmly rejected any serious investigation into his holdings or his financial obligations or responsibilities. He's always, like, obfuscated what his connections really are. And that's because, of course, he has ties everywhere. He's, you know, a billionaire. He's a real estate mogul. So, I mean, he's got connections to all kinds of nasty places and people. And obviously, none of that really looks good under a harsh light. In terms of the broader GOP, though, there are two main reasons why they're siding with Russia. Okay, there's just two. Okay, one of them is that Russia is fascist, and fascist governments like other fascist governments. The only time fascist governments don't like other fascist governments is when they're both fighting over the same thing. That's it. You know, Russia and America don't border each other. Not really. I know Alaska, but you know what I mean. They're not. We're not like in direct competition for any immediate resources. We are on opposite sides of the globe, more or less. Again, I know Alaska exists, but the fact that information travels globally in an instant these days means that like any kind of ideological unity between Russia and America kind of magnifies the power of both, right? That's one. The other, Russia is an oligarchy. It is controlled pretty much entirely by a small handful of very wealthy, very well politically connected people. This is the ideal form of government to people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and so on and so forth, right? Like it is just the way they want the world to be run, with billions and billions of desperate, impoverished people who are maybe at most participating democratically in a kind of like local sense. They gripe and they argue at town halls, but the real power, the real holding, the real capital acquisition is thoroughly consolidated. It's in the hands of a very small number of people, and they are the ones who get to make all the decisions. And at the end of the day, democracy stops the moment it becomes inconvenient to those people. You know? I mean, it's like that in a lot of countries. In Russia, it is much more like that than in others. And in America, it is now much more like that than it was like a year ago. So, you know, that's it. It has nothing to do, like Trump's personal susceptibility to Russia is just like a lubricant to the entire process. It's just a facilitator, you know? It's not the reason this is happening. Or to put it another way, if Trump had a heart attack and got replaced by JD Vance or whatever, it wouldn't change a thing in terms of the way we engage with Russia. Obviously, you know, this isn't about like a personal project, which is why Trump being personally susceptible to Russia isn't really the point, right? And I think liberals often miss the mark on that. I also think lefties really miss the mark when they continue to pretend that the whole like Russia-Trump stuff is made up or whatever. I don't know what they're on about, man. Like, I do not get it. I feel like I'm seeing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact play out like in real time, kind of like ideologically, to see like this synthesis of obvious fascism unified with I guess, because any lefty who defends Russia these days, it's not like an ideological thing, right? It's like a campist anti-American thing. But are the tankies even relevant anymore? Like, oh, wow, you think that Russia is a bulwark against American imperialism? Congratulations. You now share your opinion with the US State Department. Like, you're not special anymore. Like, you pretended for a while this was a dissident opinion. Like, oh, did you know that, like, Assad and Putin are actually and Xi Jinping are, like, the only forces fighting against US tyranny? And now America and Russia are shaking hands over mineral rights in Ukraine? And it's like, okay, come on. Like, bro, they're all just different flag colors of the same damn team in various stages of the problem, right? If anything, I would say that China is currently the least oligarchical of the three countries because at least they have the CCP has some like semblance of responsibility to the public interest. They do occasionally slap billionaires' wrists or execute them. When they do something that is so detrimental to the well-being of the country that it actually hurts essentially the national bottom line. Over here in America, of course, no one got punished after the 2008 financial crisis, not nearly enough at least. So look, everything's advancing really quickly. I feel really bad for the folks over in Ukraine. Everything they've done, all the fighting that they've engaged in. It's not even like the people in Ukraine are any like particularly better or worse than any other group of people. That should never be what it's about, right? People always get caught up in this like essentialist idea that it's like, oh, you support Ukraine against the Russian invasion? Well, you must be like ideologically pro-Ukrainian. Well, I'm ideologically pro-people. I don't really care about Ukraine or any national boundary. Sorry for being like a Reddit socialist here, but I mean it, because people always get caught this like, oh, well, don't you know there are like Nazis in Ukraine? Bro, there's Nazis everywhere. They currently run the Russian and US governments. What do you want from me, okay? Like, yeah, they're everywhere. At least Zelensky is a liberal. At least, like on the political axis, Zelensky is closer to being a socialist by virtue of it not being its diametric opposite than the leadership in the United States or Russia. So I don't know what we're arguing about, okay? We're dealing with like a global rise in fascism, which perfectly corresponds to a rise in people who are taking Russia's side over Ukraine's, So I don't know what you want. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why people die on this hill. I don't know why people still pretend like this is a morally ambiguous issue at all. Like, oh, did you know there are bad people in Ukraine? Did you know that Ukraine's done bad things? Yeah, wow. Welcome to nation states. Can I interest you in some Sid Meier? I don't know. I don't know what you want. I do take it as a bit of a good sign that, at least for now, it seems like Europe is holding strong in its support of Ukraine because there is like a very direct relationship between acquiescing to Russia's demands and the success of this global fascist movement, hopefully.